Television viewers in the San Joaquin Valley? Remember the good old days of live TV when anything could happen? Remember the best music of yesteryear like Count Basie, Tommy Dorsey, and Harry James? Remember those old-time TV programs like The Jack Benny Show, Burns and Allen, and The Bob Cummings Show? Mix it all up with live in-studio guests and taking phone calls from viewers just like you. What do you have? You have a show like no other in the country each week on KGMC Channel 43.5, Antenna TV, and Comcast Cable Channel 378. Tune your television sets at 7 p.m. every Saturday night for 6 hours of entertainment on the Flying Home with Ronnie Paul show. It's Flying Home with Ronnie Paul each Saturday night from 7 p.m. till 1 a.m. on KGMC Channel 43.5 and Comcast Cable 378.
From AM 1680, The Answer, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Leaders Live. Every Tuesday morning, like you heard Skip Essex say there, 9 a.m. on Tuesdays. You join me right here for Business Leaders Live. I bring you business leaders throughout the Valley and beyond, and this week is very special to me. Everybody knows Lance Cardoza. They work very closely with the Fresno Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies invited me, John Stockton specifically. He said, I want you to join me with this group of great people, and they're going to do something really big. And I really want to have you be involved with this because I think the media needs to know about it. Everybody needs to know about this event. And I went to a couple of their meetings, and I was very impressed. Many people came to the table, and they were so passionate about this happening that's going to happen on April 28th. And it's Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. And there was a lady in the room that really touched my heart when she told her story. And in studio, I have that lady here. Denise is here. I also have Smokey, and I also have David. And the three of them were on the program or in the meetings, and all had passion, all had a story, and wanted to give back to the Vietnam veteran. Some veterans themselves told their stories. But Denise, I wanted to start the program with you because your story is so powerful that you're a wife of a Vietnam veteran, and you got to experience what Steve goes through. And make sure you get real close to the mic there. And then tell us your story. Why did this come about?
Good morning. Thank you also for having us on the show. I really appreciate it. And I just have to say, my husband and I have been married 30 years. And I knew he had served in Vietnam. I wasn't obviously around at that time, but I would hear bits and pieces of his story. And about 5 years ago, I saw a recording on Facebook of a little town, I believe it was in Kentucky, that had held a Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans event for their local servicemen that had sacrificed and served in Vietnam. And as my husband got a little bit older and I started hearing more and more of his stories, they started surfacing, I realized that our Vietnam veterans really never got that hero's welcome home. Our country was clearly divided, and unfortunately, not only did they not get the welcome home, but they were somewhat abused. They couldn't even wear their uniforms out of the airports because they would be ridiculed and spit on and yelled at. And it's just heartbreaking that these men and women that serve their country were not able to get even a thank you. So I just started thinking, why not here? Why not in the Valley? Why not in Fresno? Can we do that same thing?
And this affected your husband.
Absolutely.
You know it personally bothers him.
Yes, absolutely. My husband, I would just hear comments, especially with our current day veterans. He was very thankful that they were received as heroes, but it was kind of an open wound that they did not receive that. And so that just stewed inside of me. And when I saw that video, I thought this is a way for me personally to honor my husband, to show him that I understand. Actually, I don't understand. I didn't live it. But I can empathize with him.
You see what he struggles with.
Absolutely. I see this. I see it every day.
Every
He
day.
lives it every day. 40-some years afterwards, he still has nightmares every night. So I know it's real, and I just think this is a great way to honor, for me personally, not only to honor my husband, but to honor hundreds, if not thousands, of Vietnam veterans who did not get that hero's welcome home. So that just kind of
That's what
birthed
motivated
this vision.
that started it. And so you're in business with Fresno Pacific, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. And you have a cohort that works there and a good friend, and David Black. And you start talking to David, and you said, hey, is that how it started?
Yes. We hired David as our veteran recruiter. And I knew him previously, actually, as one of my students. And so I just went to David and I said, this is my idea, and can you help me with it? And thankfully, David caught the vision, and it's all in who you know. He knew people that could make this happen and called people to the table, and the vision just grew from there. And I'm just so grateful for David and for Smokey, for you, for the Grizzlies. Everybody has just been amazing, and I can't wait to see how this event comes
So
to fruition.
a big event, April 28th at Fresno Grizzlies. So it's a ways out, but there's a big announcement coming out on Thursday.
Yes.
So that'll be happening and kicking off this campaign and this celebration of the welcome home to the Vietnam veterans. David, you're a veteran yourself, so this was very important to you and emotional to you too as well, right?
Oh, yes. And I just want to say thank you too, Lance, for letting us come here and talk about this event. When Denise approached me, I caught it right away, the vision. And not only am I a veteran, but I'm also the son of a Vietnam veteran. My father did 2 tours there. And so one of my jobs also, I worked at the VA hospital as a veteran service officer for AMVETS, and I got to see a lot of veterans, Vietnam veterans, coming in and hear their stories. And not only them, but their spouses as well, and some of the challenges that they went through during that time. And I'm also a second vice commander for AMVETS Department of California, and I reached out to Smokey, and he was on board, and some other business leaders here throughout the valley. And yes, they've all jumped on board. And how do we do that? Denise and I started brainstorming, and we couldn't think of a better way to host an event at an all-American sport, baseball, and truly just welcome them home. And one of the things, my takeaways that I've learned in walking with Denise and others in this vision is I joined the Navy in 1987 and retired in 2010, and I'll never know what the Vietnam veterans went through. We all share a common bond of being a veteran, but to truly understand those guys coming home and experience what they experienced, I will never know that. So I want to make sure that I learn that and our new veterans learn that, and we never forget the challenges that they went through, and we just want to hug them and welcome them home.
And I think you coined some key words: honor, educate, and what was the third?
Heal.
In the heal. Honor and educate and heal. And I think that's a powerful thing for this event too, because it's an education process too. Like you said, a lot of people will never know. They don't know what the history, whether they're too young, but they will know through stories and through events like this that tell them why our country is, we're so fragile as a company, our country, and we see these tragic events happening on the daily here and around the world, and our veterans are out there fighting that war on a constant basis. Our government is constantly, we're out there trying to protect our citizens, our people, and our guys that went over there and like Smoke. Denise was talking about how you didn't feel welcome. You didn't feel thanked for what you did. I heard at one time you had to move your family and do things like that. So it was hard not getting that. Correct, Smoke?
Correct. It was. Matter of fact, you could only hear about it when I went overseas. We were only going over there because our government said and our military said, hey, you were over there to do a job, and you got to go over there to protect what we believe in. So, really when I came back from overseas after I was over there in 71 and 72, and I know there was a lot of, we kid among ourselves, a lot of the veterans saying, well, heck, the war was almost over with. Well, it might have been, but there was still a lot of people, a lot of soldiers getting wounded and killed at that.
It was an ugly
time.
part of the
war. It really was.
Yeah.
But when I came home, I remember so vividly getting off the airplane, and I know that we had people say, okay, now before you go off the base, you go in there and you change your clothes because you don't want to go out there with your military clothing. And so my wife and my daughter, and at that time my son, who I hadn't seen, and then of course my parents were there. And so I did go in, and I started change, and I thought, why? I had just fought for over a year, and for what I believed in and trying to do what was right. Why am I going in there to change my clothes and civilian clothes? I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what we did. A lot of us went over there. A lot of us did not come back. And so I went in and I put on my blues. I was in the Air Force. I was an Air Force pilot. So I put on my blues, and I met my wife, and I met my family, and we walked out of there, and we went off base in there. And of course, my wife, that night we went to San Francisco, and I remember us going into the hotel, and I was getting some bad, ugly names thrown at us. But then I also, after talking to my wife about it, I didn't realize that soon after she was living in an apartment here in the area, that they found out that I was overseas in Vietnam, and they come banging on the door, and they said, do you know your husband's over there killing and maiming and women and children? And of course, my daughter, who was about 2 years old at that time, looked at Mommy and said, Mommy, is Daddy doing that? And so after a while with all that, she had to move.
You had to pick them up and move them. Don't go away. This is a very special show. In this next hour of Business Leaders Live, Smoke, thank you for sharing that story. And there's many other stories we're going to talk about, but we're talking about the Welcome Home Vietnam veterans. It's so well deserved, and it's going to happen. More to come right here on Business Leaders Live. We'll be right back.
A little smarter.
What you've been talking about rings rife through this area.
And a lot more
I'm a
informed.
black man in America. I'm a survivor.
It's Jim Franklin Live.
Just wanted to say I like the show, dude.
Weekday mornings at 8 on AM 1680, The Answer. Tune in this Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. to Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam, your unashamed, unafraid political evangelist, exposing the left and mobilizing the right to stand in the Central Valley, across the state of California, and around the country. Christ, family, country. It's live, it's local, it's Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam on AM 1680, The Answer. Brought to you in part by Joe Sears, standing up for what's right in America.
There are thousands of different rules in the Social Security Handbook. Are you confident that you know the right ones that apply to you? The wrong decision could be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. At Financial Engines, we believe there's no one-size-fits-all answer to claiming Social Security benefits, and that it's important to work with an advisor to understand the pros and cons of delaying benefits and how to avoid the hidden traps that could reduce them. As America's largest independent investment advisor, according to Investment News, Financial Engines offers help to more than 9 million people. We provide objective, personal, and comprehensive planning advice. Get to financialengines.com. We'll connect you with an expert financial advisor in your area who will help create a retirement and Social Security benefits plan so you don't risk leaving anything on the table. So, financialengines.com. Get started today.
This is John Sayers with Financial Engines in Fresno and Visalia. Let's talk about the financial goals that are important to you, and together we'll develop a plan to help make them happen. Call me at 559-434-9800 or visit financialengines.com.
Do you believe that kids today need a caring adult in their lives? Hi, this is Ed Kazmarek with Fresno Madera Youth for Christ. We believe kids need more than that. It takes at least 7 caring adults, a parent, a coach, a pastor, a YFC mentor, to help kids along the difficult journey of being a teenager. Life can be overwhelming. The Youth for Christ team serves at over 35 ministry sites across Fresno and Madera counties, bringing the good news of hope in Jesus Christ. Support Youth for Christ. Visit yfcnow.org today.
Serrano's Furniture is the proud sponsor of The Fighter's Voice, Central Valley's only boxing and MMA one-hour weekly talk show featuring local, amateur, and professional boxers with interviews of Hall of Fame guests. Get your weekly news and updates in the boxing and martial arts world with your host from thefightersvoice.com, Richard Ortiz, here at KGED 1680 AM The Answer. Remember, every fighter has a voice.
The Fighter's Voice with Richard Ortiz, Saturday afternoon 5 to 6 and Sunday 3 to 4 p.m. on AM 1680, The Answer. Answer.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back to Business Leaders. We're talking about Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, and it's going to be on April 28th at Chachansey Park with the Fresno Grizzlies. And some of the committee that put this event together are in studio here for Business Leaders Live. I have David Black from Fresno Pacific University. Also have Smokey Rickard, a Vietnam veteran, and also with AMVETS. And Denise with Fresno Pacific University, Baronian. I got close.
It's okay.
Baronian. And Denise, this was before we went to the break, when we stopped at the show, you were talking about how this is important to you because you have veterans in your life. Not only your husband was a veteran, but you have other family members as well.
Yes, both my father, Archie, and my stepfather, John, both served during the Vietnam era. So this is to honor them as well.
And you're going to give them that big welcome home that they never had. And right here in Fresno, we really support our veterans. We have the big Veterans Day Parade coming up, one of the biggest ones, I believe, west of the Mississippi. And the gentleman that worked on that for years, I can't remember his name, but he was such a great guy, big man. Can't remember his name, but he passed away several years back. And someone, if you remember, call in at 559-442-1680. But what was his name? Bill. I believe it was Bill. But yeah, a retired Air Force guy. He was such a great guy. And that Veterans Parade is incredible. But just like that Veterans Parade, this event, Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, on April 28th is going to be incredible. There's a big press conference we're going to have at Chachansey Park. This committee, the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, is going to host this Thursday at 10:30 a.m., and they're going to unveil something special, and it's going to be really nice at the stadium, and it'll be there as a permanent thing. But David Black, David, you can share with people a little bit about what this event is going to entail, what the excitement, and it's unfolding every day. There's something new. There's business leaders and general public that just come to you and say, I want to be involved with this. I want to also help in this welcome. What's going to happen on that day on April 28th?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And Denise and I and Smoke, we are just completely in awe at the people that want to just come on board and join us. One of the things that we're looking at doing as part of the theme of honor, healing, and educating is we're going to host a flag ceremony at the beginning of the ceremony, and it's called the 13-fold flag.
Okay.
Just before the game.
Okay.
And so another thing we are looking to do, we've also...
And explain the 13 folds.
Sure.
Somebody is just hearing that for the very first time. What does that mean?
One of the neat thing about the 13 folds, each fold of the flag, there's 13 of them, there's a meaning behind it. And at the end of the that fold, when they hold up the flag, it looks like the cover of General George Washington, our president.
Yeah.
So, the hat.
Looks
and then
like his
also,
hat, yeah.
So that's one thing we want to do to bring, a little education component to about our flag.
Yeah.
And while we'd like to do that during the game or just before the game, is also roll into the national anthem, as well as God Bless America and a few other events that hopefully,
some big surprises
that are coming down the pipe. So that will be on the day of. And also another thing we're going to do is shake the hand of the Vietnam veterans that do attend, and we'd like to get them a really custom-made challenge coin that we've all collectively got together. And
a beautiful coin.
It's a beautiful
I just
coin.
saw some renderings of it. Really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that will be at the press conference, a rendering of that.
So all the veterans, and that press conference you're talking about is this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. If someone wants to come down and support and be a part of that, it'll be at Chachansey Park. And it'll be a great event announcing some special details for that day, and an installment it'll be at the stadium on an ongoing basis. And the excitement then leads towards April 28th when these veterans get to come home. They get welcome home at what a best place to do it, at an All-American baseball game, and come and have a good time and be able to heal and educate general people that don't know the details of what these men have gone through, and men and women today in the military, what they go through today. I mean, it's you deal with it all the time. I'm sure David and Smokey with AMVETS, that all the time you run across that, and everybody has a story, and some of those stories are locked with a key in a deep, dark hole.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can't let that out and be able to talk about that, and it's okay. And I think this is a day on April 28th of some healing and honoring those veterans. That's going to be really big. On that day, also, one of the things, the challenge coin. So that challenge coin is given to all the veterans. Do they need to register? I know there's tickets that will be sold for that event, but how's that process going to work?
Yeah, really, this is going to be an honor system, and we'll be able to, determine the best way to pass these out. But once they do come and they start signing up, saying, "Hey, I'm a Vietnam veteran. We'd like to bring them out onto the field," and at that time, it's still the logistics a little bit.
Still working those details.
If we're going to hand it out to them there, or at the time when they get the ticket, they'll be handed a challenge coin, which it's a really nice coin. I'm looking forward to it.
It is beautiful. And people can call a number to find out information or how to get involved?
They sure can. They can call our headquarters, AMVETS, which is based out of Tulare, but we cover the whole state of California.
Yeah.
And that number is 559-688-3407. And they can get more information about this whole event. And
Perfect. And that number again for AMVETS out of Tulare is 559-688-3407.
Yes.
And that's how they can get involved, or if they're a veteran, if they have some questions, or you maybe just want to help out, or you're a business and you have the means to sponsor or help out. There's a lot of businesses have been coming forward to you folks and saying, I want to be involved and like to help out.
Yep.
We have a caller that's on the line right now. I have Denise, Smokey, and David in studio, and we're talking about Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. We got a couple minutes here, caller, but I have Michael from Fresno. Thank you for calling Business Leaders Live.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me online. Yeah, this is Michael Black. I'm a retired Navy chief as well, and I just wanted to send a shout-out to Smokey, Dave, and Denise, and I just want to say I really appreciate what you guys are all doing for the Vietnam veterans. My father served in Vietnam as well, and although he's not with us now, I know he would greatly appreciate this as well. I just want to send on my Bravo Zulu to you guys.
Michael Black, thank you for calling in. And your father, that day on April 28th, this event is for him. This event is for every one of those Vietnam veterans that all served their time, whether with us or they're not. They're still with us in spirit, and we're there to celebrate with each and every one of them and their brothers. So we appreciate you calling in, Michael, and sharing that. And so what, now you're from Fresno yourself, so doing business here in Fresno?
Well, I just recently retired, and I'm actually going to school now. So.
Oh, good. So retired and going to school. That's what I want to do. Perfect. Yeah. Hey, Michael, I appreciate you calling in. And they are. This is a great group of people. So thank you for calling in.
Thanks again, guys. Thanks again.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much. But Smokey, before we went to break earlier too, you were talking about with your family, it was a challenge coming home, and finally you see some healing going on. You see some to where people are able to share their stories and do some healing, but we just got about 30 seconds here. What is this event? What does it mean to you, Smoke?
I know that I've been to another, about 2015 VA hospital here. The VA put on a welcome home, and there was 600 individuals at that time, and I had a chance to be a part of it. And it was interesting to see all the individuals. There was even an individual from high school I hadn't seen in 40, 50 years, and that there was tears in the eyes and being able to say, "Welcome home, brother." and thanks that you made it home. There was tears and stuff of joy. Somebody finally saying, "Thank you. We are not forgotten," and that we are getting a kind of a proper welcome home. I think that's what it's really all about for everybody.
Awesome stuff, Smoke. I have Denise, Smokey, and also David. Stay with us right here on Business Leaders Live. We've got more to share right here in this exciting hour of the show. Thank you so much.
It's the Regency Free Accessory Fall Savings Event at Backyard Spa and Leisure. Fall is here, and now's the time to think about cozying up to a nice warm fire with your Regency fireplace. Now through November 27th, you'll save up to $690 and get free accessories like a ceramic log set, blower unit, and venting. Let the experts at Backyard Spa and Leisure design the best Regency fireplace option for you and save during the Regency Free Accessory Fall Savings Event at Backyard Spa and Leisure on the northeast corner of Fresno and Alluvial.
Every day, Poverello House serves 1,600 meals to homeless men and women and families in Fresno County. That's equivalent to one meal for each person at a sold-out Save Mart Center concert. And we've been doing it all with a warehouse and operations center that has seen much better days. Hello, this is Cruz Avila, Executive Director for the Poverello House. Help us raise the roof and fund the construction of a new fully insulated warehouse at Poverello. Together, let's build something that will have a profound impact on our community. Donate today by visiting www.poverellohouse.org or call us at 498-6988.
I'm amazed at what they're putting in cars these days. DVDs, TVs, CD players, satellite radio. Some even have an annoying voice that'll talk back to you and tell you where to turn and when you missed your exit. And I'm not talking about your mother-in-law. But your car was not meant to eat breakfast in. Breakfast was meant to be eaten at a table, prepared fresh and served hot by a friendly face. I'm talking about eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, biscuits, and gravy, waffles topped with your favorite fruit, and served on a plate the way that breakfast was meant to be served. Well, those days are not gone, because that's the type of home cooking that you'll find at your local Huckleberry's. Let me recommend two great locations, Huckleberry's at Bullard and 41 and Huckleberry's at Champlain and Parent. They've plenty of friendly servers ready to help you get in and out fast if you have limited time, or to serve your every need if you want a long, leisurely meal. That's Huckleberry's at Bullard and 41 or Champlain and Parent. Oh, don't forget to try their Huckleberry sauce. Tell them I sent you.
It's time for The Legal Edge, a look at your rights as a Christian, a parent, and a citizen. And now, with a look at what's happening on the legal front, the president of the Pacific Justice Institute, Brad Dacus.
We are all familiar with the politically correct war on Christmas. The anti-religion crowd wants to silence the influence of Christianity on our culture. But why isn't the same war waged against Halloween? Its origins are indisputably religious. Halloween comes from the pagan Druids and their celebration of their Lord of the Dead on October 31. The modern practices of Satanism and witchcraft hold that certain spells and sacrifices can only be cast on Halloween. Just ask police departments across the country. The blatant ignoring of this religious holiday and the attack on Christmas show all too well the true intentions of the anti-religion crowd. I'm Brad Dacus.
To find out more about The Legal Edge, call 916-857-6900 or log on at pacificjustice.org.
This is Hugh Hewitt from Larry Holiday and the Holiday Diaz team at RBC Wealth Management. When thinking about retirement, most of us have questions such as how many years before I can retire? How much money do I need to retire? How will I pay for my later years in life? At RBC Wealth Management, they can help answer those questions and design a customized plan to meet your specific financial goals. If you have any questions about retirement, call Larry Holiday at RBC Wealth Management, 559-447-8213, 559-447-8213.
RBC Wealth Management is a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA. You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. It's going to happen at Chachansey Park. A little ways out, it's April 28th is the big event. All the details are coming together, and they're asking for the public and also business leaders throughout the Valley to get involved. If you want to welcome home your Vietnam veterans and want to be a part of this big event, there's a press conference this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. at Chachansey Park, where this group is coming together to make some special announcements and sort of kick this off as we get closer to April 28th for the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. And we're expecting a huge crowd. People are going to be coming from everywhere. I've heard people from the Bay Area that wanted to come to this event that were asking questions. But Denise, this started, you wanted to do something special for your family and your husband. And we had a caller called in that said that his father had passed, but it's for them too, correct? It's for, we honor every veteran that served and every veteran, but this is specifically welcome home to the Vietnam veterans, correct?
Absolutely. We do welcome all veterans. It's a great opportunity for current modern day veterans to stop and honor those that have served prior to them. So we definitely invite everyone, but it's specifically to welcome home and give that hero's welcome home to not only our Vietnam veterans, but their families, their dependents. I remember my mother-in-law talking about having nightmares that the chaplain was knocking at her door in the middle of the night. Living with that fear and that anxiety, and they didn't have the ability to communicate like our veterans do today. Yeah. And so there was a lot of just waiting and the unknowns. Yeah.
And it probably still sits with them today. I've heard some that still, they have those nightmares.
Unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away this last year, but she would have loved this. So I just want to encourage families, if they have a family member that has passed away that served in the Vietnam War, this is for them too. It's not just a sacrifice on the soldier's part, but it's a sacrifice for the entire family. My children that are grown, they don't really know anything about the Vietnam War, and so they're excited to come as dependents that their father served, to hear more about what he endured and to be able to celebrate and honor their dad. And so it's for everyone, whether your loved one is still with us or not, they can still be honored. So we want to invite everyone to come out and pay their respects.
What a beautiful event. It's going to be April 28th. Welcome home, Vietnam veterans. And the committee's in Studio A right now. I've got Denise and Smokey and David. And Smokey, before we went to commercial break, you were talking about, as being a veteran yourself, a Vietnam veteran, and you're modest at times. Then at times you tell some stories that it's just hard to believe that some of these men and women had to go through these things. And you're a pilot.
Yes.
You're a pilot, yes. And just a fascinating talk. But you lived sometimes this nightmare that probably replays in your mind.
Well, thank God my wife Becky, who was with me all these years, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we have 3 children. Matter of fact, my daughter is a veteran. But if it hadn't been for my wife, and she could have got up and left any time, but she stayed there, and God love her. I really do. I think a lot about it. But, I look back now and I remember some of the things my father-in-law said. And, of course, I come from long lines of military. My my granddad was World War I, and both of my granddads were. And then my biological and stepfathers were World War II. And then my father-in-law, who I dearly love, he was in the military for many years too, or I say a few years.
So a lot of respect for the uniform.
Yeah, I do, and of course, like I said, my daughter. But I think one of the biggest things when I came home, my father-in-law pulled me aside and he says, how things going? And I said, fine. I had to go back over. And he says, what I'm trying to do is, he says, I'm trying to keep all the papers, Fresno Bees and guides and stuff like that, has anything that deals with your airplane going down or whatever. He says, I try to keep it from Becky so she doesn't see and get worried. So that was one of the things that it was within the house. He understood and he knew. But I think, one of the major things is, I think one that sticks in my mind is one of my roommates that got killed over there. He went on, and it was unselfish. It was just selflessness. I mean, he gave his life because they got shot in the airplane, and he had a Marine in the back, and they were getting ready to bail out, and the Marine in the back said, Steve, I can't. And he says, why? He says, my parachute's on fire, because the parachute was built into the seat.
Oh.
So it was the OV-10, so he went out over the water to ditch it, and when he ditched it, it went over, and he was knocked out and he drowned. But Mike in the back was able to pop up, and and because of this, and because his heroism and what he wound up getting the Medal of Honor, and it has stuck to me. The reason why it's so close is I was the one that scheduled him for that sortie, and it was a new sortie, and so I scheduled him, and for a long time it bothered me.
It bothered you?
Yeah, because I scheduled him, and he wouldn't have been there if I hadn't have put him in that airplane.
But he served like the rest of you, every veteran. But you can't beat yourself up for it. But it's a lot of healing and that's what this is about. The Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. This is a healing.
That's
time.
what it's all about. Is
share
being
those
able
stories.
to come home and say, hey, get the approval from your wife.
Yeah, and be able to do that. And you mentioned your daughter is involved, and this is like the new blood of the generations, because you've had many generations of the uniform.
And she's married to a fellow that was from the Army. As a matter of fact, it's one of her high school sweethearts that they wound up getting after all these years. And they hooked up about 3 years ago, and he has PTSD and for being over in Iraq and Afghanistan now. And she's helping out because now she's in mental health, a licensed clinician at Grand Junction VA Hospital. She's helping up veterans there to continue it on. So my wife and I are very proud of all of our children. And so it's just kind of carrying that on as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Smokey. And David, we got about a minute here before we go to break, and we'll be right back. And it's hard to follow that with Smokey, but this event, and Smokey, thanks again for sharing. I mean, that's good. I know it's hard. April 28th is going to be special. It's going to be a special time, and I think it's a big component for education too.
Yes, very much so. And like we were talking about. With the Grizzlies coming on board and that their outreach to various education schools, also Fresno Pacific University and Fresno State as well, we want to reach out to them and the Unified School District and see if they want to come and be a part of this as well. But to educate, like Denise was talking about, our veterans now, our active duty members, because like I said, we all share that common bond of being a veteran, the fears of deployment, coming home, but also not knowing exactly what those veterans went through.
Absolutely. We're talking about the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. We'll be right back with Business Leaders Live.
By popular demand.
The long and the short of it is this.
Because you've asked for it.
Bob Corker is just doing the bidding of the resistance.
The Laura Ingraham Show is back on AM 1680, The Answer.
Clintons and the Obamas. The resistance resides among the Bushes.
Listen to America's #1 female conservative talk show host, Laura Ingraham. Weekdays, noon to 3. AM 1680,
The Answer. Have you ever wanted to go out for a night of comedy but didn't want to put up with all the obscenities? Have I got an event for you. Coming to the Cornerstone Conference Center Friday night, November the 10th, a night of clean comedy featuring local artist James Franklin, Lonnie Pelly, and headlining nationally known comedian Kristen Weber.
I moved out to Hollywood for the worst reason. I moved there to be closer to a boy, my soulmate, Robert Downey Jr. Oh, there were signs that we were meant to be together. He got out of jail the same year I got out of high school. And I was like, that's awesome, Lord, but I'm going to need some confirmation. And then he got out again the year I got out of college.
Mark it down. Friday night, November the 10th, Cornerstone Conference Center at the corner of Stanislaus and Fulton in downtown Fresno. Tickets are only $7 in advance and $9 at the door. For more information, go to cornerstonefresno.com. A night of clean comedy. Friday, November the 10th, Cornerstone Conference Center. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to cornerstonefresno.com. I'll see you there.
Hello, by popular demand, Dick Delgado's Rhythm Roundup Oldies Show is moving to Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. All your favorites from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 2 full hours of the perfect cruising music to wrap up your weekend with the legendary Richard the Lion, Dick Delgado. So grab your hula hoop and slick back your hair for this sentimental trip through the valley. The Rhythm Roundup with Dick Delgado. Sundays 3 to 5 on AM 1680, The Answer.
Loans are made by WebBank. Rates and terms vary based on credit history. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I get hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required. And you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 8000. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back to Business Leaders Live. This is it's an emotional time here in the studio. You know, during the commercial breaks, the stories, we keep talking about them, and this is a big impact on the families of veterans involved throughout the Central Valley and all over California. It's a welcoming home on April 28th on Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, and this committee is working really hard to get that word out. And this Thursday at 10:30 a.m., they have a press conference down at Chancey Park. The great gracious partners of the Fresno Grizzlies allowing them to come in and hold a press conference, and they're gonna make a special announcement that day and start to get the ball rolling and get ready for this celebration that we're going to have on April 28th. But Denise Baronian, you were talking about your husband, Steve, and your husband, business leader himself. He's out there working with the car business today, and say hi to Steve.
Chrysler.
Yeah, Clovis Chrysler. We got to put that out. Tim
Little plug there.
Yeah, Tim Finnegan.
Go buy a car.
You owe us $1, Tim. So go buy a car. But Steve, you're listening and you're smiling. He's got that smile, I can tell. But and make sure you tell Tim that we put a plug in for him. But several business leaders have talked about wanting to get involved, and they want to be a part of this. And Denise, I know you get emotional every time you see a new person come to the table and says, I want to help, and they have this passion, this fire in their belly to do something about it. And what does that do to you? I mean, this is because it's just coming to life.
Right. It's overwhelming, to be honest. I kind of just sit in awe at how this is coming to fruition. It starts with an idea, and
yep.
And as a leader in the community, this is just a really a life lesson that everything starts with an idea, and you just have to put it out there and take a chance. And this has grown to something beyond my wildest expectations. It's a lesson to think big instead of thinking small, because you put the idea out and you just hope and pray that influential people will just catch that vision. And in this case, they have. And I am so grateful for our business leaders that have come around the table. And you're right, every time we have a meeting and there's someone new to the table, whether it's someone from VA hospital or from local businesses, or whether we've talked to law enforcement or our city leaders that are excited about the event, I can't express my gratitude. Saying thank you is just to me, that means nothing. It doesn't convey the depth of my heart. And the really neat thing is I hid this from my husband for over a year.
As you were just trying to put this together.
I didn't want to tell him about it until I knew that we had kind of gotten a place and a date.
Yeah.
Once we partnered with Grizzlies and got a place and a date, I sat my husband down and said, "I've been hiding something from you." And the look on his face, he was probably a little worried.
Like, oh no.
But when I told him, my husband's not an emotional man, and he broke down and cried. And every time he tells someone about this event, he gets very emotional. He's proud of me as his wife to kind of pursue this dream of honoring him and others like him. But he's just proud of the community. He was overwhelmed. We invited him to a meeting to come and meet some of the key players.
I was at that meeting.
You were there,
yeah.
yes.
He actually spoke. You said he usually won't say anything, and he talked. And
he spoke to just say thank you, and he couldn't even get the words out. He was getting choked up, and it just means that much to him. So I know if it means that much to him, and seeing Smokey's emotion come up, and I just cry nonstop when it comes to our veterans. It just means a lot, and I know it's going to mean so much to the men and women that are going to be honored that night. So I'm just thankful.
So as this committee is coming together, and it reminds me of our mayor a couple of years ago. Alan Autry used to say this to me all the time. Hey, brother, you got to get the people, get the plan, and get the money. And that's how I got to get it done.
Right.
But that's where it is. We've got the people together. We're putting the plan together. April 28th, the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Group. The people, the Grizzlies, the partnership there, everything's starting to come into place, getting now sponsorship to be able to help put this on, and getting the public to come out and buy a ticket to a great American baseball game of the Fresno Grizzlies on April 28th, and at the same time, the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. They're talking about maybe videos of stories in between innings and a lot of fun stuff that's going to be announced. You're going to have to stay tuned. And David, how would somebody right now, they're listening right now, and they say, one, I want to get involved. So we have a number where they can call in, but they can also go to a Facebook. True? They can go to a Facebook to find out some details?
We're launching the Facebook. It's unofficial right now because we're still building it out, but there will be a Facebook page that will be up within the next day or so.
Okay.
Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, and you can just search that, and all the information, we will keep everything posted there.
And post the details so some people can go on there. And if they want to call and they want to find out information, David, they would call what number again?
559-688-3407.
And this Thursday at 10:30, a big press conference, and we'll give a little sneak peek, a little something, but POWs and MIA, missing, so prisoners of war and missing in action.
Yes.
We're going to do something special for that, and it's something to where we honor them, and we're going to do that Thursday at 10:30 a.m. at Chancey Park. And if you want to come down and be a part of this press conference,
yes,
you're welcome to do that. Right?
Yes, we encourage anybody to come down and witness what we're going to unveil. And talking about emotions, I get chills and get a little choked up myself thinking about this. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that day and unveiling this great thing, which I can't say enough praise about the Grizzlies of walking along with us in this vision.
Yeah.
And like you said, Lance, some other business partners as well.
Including yourself, Lance. Thank you.
Including
Thank
Lance,
you.
yes. We can't thank you enough. And just, hey, we're on board. What can we do? We're here. How do we help? Like Denise says, she was in awe, and I'm with her too, and same with Smoke. Some veteran-owned companies right here. Elena Foods and Meats to You.
Tim is great. Yeah,
Tim is
Elena,
outstanding.
And he's been a great friend now. Yeah.
And Fiore da Pasta, a veteran-centric company. They really are really supportive and helpful.
Yeah.
And then my son's doing all the marketing and designing the poster. So
I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, and he's great.
Having family involved has been fun too.
So anybody wants to help, get the people, get the plan,
That's
get
right.
the money,
Get the money.
whatever
I like
you can
that.
do to
I like
help,
that.
be a part. So there's one for you, Alan. David, you work with veterans and young veterans all the time through the school with Pacific University and through AMVETS. And what is one of the biggest challenges that you find, and we'll talk about that when we come back. We've got to take a short break, but what's one of the biggest challenges out there? Is education one of the biggest challenges? It's knowing what the Vietnam War was about, or knowing anything about the history of the military and what our men and women have done for our country. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that right here on Business Leaders Live. This is Lance Cardoza, and I'm hosting a brand new show here on AM 1680 The Answer. It's called Business Leaders. Every week, we'll be talking to a new business leader. It could be someone close to home or someone on a national or international stage. But each one has a story that we want to tell, like how they got started, what makes them tick, and tips and tricks you can use to stay motivated and be successful. Join me, Lance Cardoza, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Business Leaders, here on AM 1680, The Answer.
Listen to Heartline, a show about women served at Evangel Home, 11 a.m. Saturday and 11:30 a.m. Sunday, each week on KGED. You'll hear a heartwarming story about challenges and success at Evangel Home. Please invest in Evangel Home, a local resource doing local good works since 1955. Christ leads, people care, and lives change at Evangel Home, with the prayers and support of the citizens of the greater Fresno area.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just got invited to the prom. Do you A, meet her date?
I need to see your past date report cards, your driver's license, a list of references, and this hair sample.
B, help her pick out a dress.
Don't you just love the long sleeves and turtleneck on this pantsuit?
Ugh.
C, attend the prom undercover.
Mom, what are you doing here?
I'm not Mom, I'm Calvin, the new kid at school.
Or D, capture her big moment.
Let's take a photo of you two. I'm in the middle.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Thank you for sticking with us throughout the program, Business Leaders Live. We've been talking about April 28th, the big Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans, in partnership with this committee that's come together, and the Fresno Grizzlies being generous to say, we want you to be there on that baseball day. But David Black, what is one of the things that you see? You work with the students and military students. Is it education, or is sometimes do they know about the Vietnam War, or is it something that's...
Well, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody who's not familiar with some kind of aspect of the Vietnam War. But in regards to our current veterans, yeah, they hear about it and stuff like that. But to follow suit with our theme, honor, heal, and educate, and to educate as a veteran myself, is the fact that, like I said, from World War I to today, we all share that common bond of being a veteran. But I'll never know what it's like to have those challenges of being called the names they were called, or not being proud to be in my uniform to walk home. I'll never know what that's like. Yeah. So I don't want our new veterans or myself to ever lose sight and remember, and that our Vietnam veterans' sacrifice will be honored and celebrated.
Absolutely. And you had a father in the Vietnam War.
Yes.
And
2 tours.
Yeah, 2 tours. So, and it's very close to you. And we don't want to lose sight to our veterans today.
That's right.
To ever be treated like that.
Exactly.
And for what they do for our country. So I appreciate you. Thank you, David, for being on the show.
Thank
Smokey,
you.
Also, thank you for sharing and being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Denise, it all started with you. It started with a vision, and it started with a dream, and you made the dream a reality. You brought the right people together and got those business leaders, and your family was not only your husband, but you had other family members. And like they said on the program, too, that if you have someone that has passed, that's no longer with us, that was in the Vietnam War, this is their day. And to me, it's even more about them than the ones that are currently with us today. We're gonna let them heal, and we're gonna be able to talk and honor them. But the ones that didn't make it, they didn't get through. This day is special for them. It would be for me to think about the people that we've lost. So on April 28th, Chachansey Park with the Fresno Grizzlies, it'll be Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. So a lot of fun. They'll have a Facebook that's coming out soon. You can get involved by calling Larry down there at the AmVets and be a part of this great event. Thank you for joining us, Denise, Smoke, and David.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. And next week, right here at 9 a.m., it's Business Leaders Live. We have Barry Falk with the Red Cross.
In the future, your home's energy footprint is going to be much smaller than it is today. Energy efficiency and green building programs combined with government incentives and private ingenuity will reduce your energy consumption anywhere from 20 to 40%. Green is good. and it will save you money.
Our family at Donald P. Dick, your locally owned and operated heating and air conditioning company, and proud to be the People's Choice Award winner for the 9th straight year, reminds you to go green and save. Call today for a free estimate.
Donald P. Dick is introducing a whole house approach. Air and duct sealing, attic insulation, hot water pipe insulation. Idea is